Verbattle, I was very clear about one thing, that I knew that we were doing something else. Why we did something else is because I wanted to do a debate competition, because I was already into political debates. I knew if I did the same kind of debates, students won't come. And I very well knew that many students, I mean, they were already going to debate competitions, and there was no need for them to come to our competition at all. And if I did the same Karl Popper or, you know, some British parliamentary debate or whatever, then the funniest thing was I thought, India is the biggest democracy in the world, why do you need Karl Popper debate? Because, you know, I mean, we've been living for 5,000 years on this planet, or maybe as a country or a civilization. God, don't we at least know something about debate? We are supposed to be the people who gave Tarkashastra, that's the science of logic, to the world. Tarkashastra, that's the science of logic to the world, and it was one of the most developed of sciences, because Tarkashastra and Darshana Shastra, which is supposed to be philosophy, these two were like completely developed even about 2,500 years ago. There is written document, okay, from the time of Ptolemy to even before, like, you know, how people came and spoke about the well-developed science of argumentation, and that's why mathematics was so predominant, because, you know, it was all developed on the basis of argumentation, and even how you deduce a theorem or a formula is also about arguments, right? You say, it's because of this, it's this, it's because of this, it's this, and so on. So the Tarkashastra was extremely developed, so I thought we should do something. Then I wanted it a little complicated and a little different when I started working on it. The first time, what we did, to maybe the third year, we made a few changes, very few changes. That's only in the finals. I was so surprised the first year itself, it worked perfectly. And the second year, all the students who had participated wanted to come back. Second year we had 300 students, third year we had 500 students. Thereafter we have been regularly having more than 1,000, 1,200 students per competition season. Then we had it all over South India, then we've taken elsewhere. Today we can't do more is because Verbattle season is longer. Just the Karnataka state season takes 1 month to finish. You understand? From the junior, beginner level to the junior level to the senior level to the selection itself takes 3 days per level. So that means about 9 days for 3 categories, and then the selection rounds, and with about a few days in between, it takes about a month. So we have only been able to go to about 7 states till now, though there's so much demand to go all over, and we don't have the manpower to do it. Okay, but already we have like I said, we've already done in a lot of other countries. Also, we've done a lot of extensive demo debates in Slovenia to Hungary to Austria and Hong Kong and the US and all. So this is what. So what is the purpose? The purpose is very simple. It just changes the attitude. I think most people, if they do Verbattle a few times, they'll start thinking a little differently. They'll think only one thing. There may be another side to it. That's all. And not like an argument. There's another side of argument. No. Maybe something that I don't know. Maybe I've not thought about it. I'm waiting to be convinced. This is something that we've seen. And we've seen so clearly. A lot of them come and tell, you know, I've done Verbattle. You know, I'm patient. You know, I think differently. These are the advantages we've been able to see. But ultimately, if you're going to do it bigger and better, we'll have to code it better. In the sense like Mr. Vastiman says, we need to have it more on paper, that there are more documents, like, you know, students, so they follow the instructions, so because and so that it doesn't become free for all. You understand? So that's why some of the things are cardinal to it. For instance, the 3 teams, the lotto, like even when he was telling, when somebody chooses the side, you feel a discomfort, correct? Like you say, oh, I could have, at least with lotto, maybe I could have got some other side.
Yes, me
Actually,
too.
it's very true.
I want their side.
Yeah, actually very true. But then if it's a lotto, you'll accept it better than when somebody says, you be on, for, you be for, or you against, which you feel that somebody has already predestined things for you. So lotto has been working extremely well. From the statement, now we have 5 debates and 10 statements, you don't know which statement you're going to get. And you're going to be completely okay with it when you get the statement, because you know you got it by chance. And then the side also, you're not going to fight about it because you picked the side. But when somebody chooses it, so we tell people very strictly, don't choose it for people. Keep it completely free. And the other thing is that like when, and the parameters. See, like the first time when I told about Verbattle, most of you must have thought, how is this? But then when I spoke about it, he said, okay. When you did it, it's much more simple. You do a few more times, it's just like anybody can do. It will go on autopilot. You got it? It's easiest. I'm sure you debate once again, you're the master of it. So that is what is the... And another thing is that it doesn't weigh too much on the participants' back in terms of the preparation. Like you don't have to shut yourself out or what. This will help you to go and talk to people. Do you have a point about this? If I say this, how will it be? Correct? So it will help you to socialize. Like how today it has happened that the Czech boy is coming and asking you, can you help me to translate things to him? Correct? So you know very well you need cooperation. Because it's not that I finish my speech and I don't know whether he speaks or not. Correct? I don't care. No, you need him. So you need to work with him. You need to, cooperate with him. You need to understand him. And you need to get him to do something. Because you need to work as a team. So these are the advantages, which I think are very useful. To start in your schools, I think it's the simplest thing. Always the first resistance will be, a lot of them will say, no. Get them to do once, there you just once. Once in Verbattle, forever in Verbattle. Oh, so sorry. Anyway, let me be back. So you got it? So that's how it is. So I feel you can take it to your schools. Maybe you can, not just about this, any subject. For example, I would say math is not necessary. How will you get them to get to know that? What are the advantages of that? Always get the negative point and debate it. You'll get all the positive points. You'll say, it's not good to go to school. And you understand, so you have defense. Okay, I have debates like Verbattle is the most boring debate competition in the world, and people have debated it and have listened. Yeah, I said, debate, so what? I'm not afraid. They say, this is the silliest format. They've debated. I should have the guts to listen to it. But then they'll feel happy about it. This is the only debate where we can question anything. We even question, Deepak Thimaya does it only for money. Correct? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So even like the whole audience, if anybody has any anger against me, that's gone. Because look at them, they told everything. That's what is it. Relief education. So what do you think?
We already discussed it. We will bring it to our school definitely. We will organize it with the statements that is, something they can relate to.
And the advantage is everyday statements, correct?
Yeah.
Everyday statements. Anything, correct? The school is better off without a principal.
Yeah, something maybe,
okay?
Their opinion to be heard.
Or our school's building should be changed for better. Anything. So you will start
We have
See
bad
what
teachers.
syllabus, yeah. The people listen to them, correct?
We will definitely do that. Only we haven't figured out either we will do it for the English or for the Latvian.
Yes. Both, I guess. Yes, it's possible, but
And it can be very, and because of the format, see, you've just seen some debates now, let's see tomorrow, because some of them are going to be extremely entertaining. Because some of the points people come up with, and when they're really pushed to a corner, how they try to react, and if there is a prize, how they struggle to win. You understand? That's very important. And what we do is that we give them points. Like every week we have debate, then if you score well, you have points. You have stars. So you wear the most number of stars. You understand? So people want to win more stars. So that it's not about, you know, how many times you won. You go to the next, you've gone to the next level, you won a star. You won, you get another so many stars. So that you feel the sense of value addition. So you want to do that. So what happens because of the format? You can do it in front of the class. You can do it in front of the school. You can make it an entertaining activity. You want that? Find a very funny statement. Correct? Like what we had the statement. Boys should be wearing skirts.
Sure.
Got it? So the whole school will sit up. And it's very interesting. Everybody can have a laugh. Correct? Or like we have statements like, a woman should be called a husband and a man should be called a wife. Very inane statement, but they come up with such, fundamental things sometimes. You just think, I didn't think about it.
Oh, we should have included some of these fun statements.
No. You have to talk to Blas. No, yeah, I'm saying you should do that. And something like, we have even had things like food tastes better without salt. How would you argue it?
Well, that's fun.
How would you argue it? Salt is essential for taste. And you say food tastes food, but then people start with about, what kind of food and when they, see, that's my belief. No, my belief is human beings are extremely capable of building defense in favor of anything. You got it. They can defend anything because the human intelligence is so powerful. Human communication ability is so developed that you can defend anything in this world.
After all, we did defend our horror.
Correct?
We lied.
No, because when you talk, somewhere down the line you start realizing there's no one side. There are always more sides. That's about it. And the funniest thing is that you have two favor. You also start thinking that even that side which sounded favorable could also be a little different. Even if you're against, two against could be different from one. But that's just a trick. But about yesterday's video that you were not there. We were watching that the student is, he's countering the A team, countering the C team, countering the A team, countering the C team. So it's like, how is he trying to, counter two different things? Why? Because you have to put out the strongest argument. It is see, why are we talking all this? Because I want you to take to even a higher level. Like today when we were talking about structuring a debate. We have not achieved that in India, though that's my aspiration. But what you did was really nice, like your point by point. But the only thing is you failed in you're failing in looping it. The looping is very important. Perhaps one of you might be able to write a book about it tomorrow, or maybe somebody could devise, like how you can actually train them. Everything can't be done by Deepak. You get my point? You can take it to a next level about, how to argue in Verbattle, how to find the right statement, correct? How to make statements, how to frame tricky statements. These are things that I can't do it all myself. I've done enough. So you have to take it to, that's why we are taking it to the world. It's not about, like we want it to reach, but we think the potential is so huge that tomorrow you may say Verbattle only in science. How can we get students to use Verbattle just to understand science better? Science is all about argument. There's a preface and you try to justify it. Maths is about arguments. Languages are about language. Putting forth logic. Correct? So how do we do that? So all this we need to do further. That's why, so maybe you trigger something, he triggers something, somebody else does something more. That's how it develops. Otherwise what? More debates will happen. 10 years ago, same debate. 20 years after, the same debate. The science of debate would have not gone any further. What do you say?
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to the last 5 seconds. But yes, in terms of, I was thinking about, you speaking about the methodology, it's essentially that, because that was one of the things that I was wondering and wanted to ask, like if you have, so you don't have in a written form, these sorts of instructions.
No, as I told you, for example, debate only for the sake of, Verbattle debate only for the sake of logic, only for language, in the sense to use the trickiness of a language, or only for science, only for this. But that cannot be done only by me. Maybe I'll try, keep trying. But these have to be done by other people, correct or not?
Yes.
It's like somebody gives you an encryption, what do you say? Code or method. So how are you going to use it? Applicability can be different from different people, correct? For example, the silicon technology or whatever, the chips or whatever. So what all you did with it, it's up to different people. Or nanotechnology. Somebody starts the technology. You can't expect the person who started it to do everything till the end.
Sure.
So that's what I'm trying to say. You need to take it, we need people who can take it further. Not just leaders in the sense, I'm going to lead my team. They should be leaders of Verbattle. You get my point?
Well, we need to start it at first.
Yeah, no, I understand, but the goal. See, when we started itself, I was very clear that we were going to take it global. So the goals should be very clear. Like Jakob keeps saying, the problem with us people is that we think very locally, he says. We go beyond our schools, he says, or our region. We need to think how we can take it to another level altogether. But it may not be tomorrow. But my goal is, I'm going to work towards it. So from the first day, I start keeping notes. Okay, this is how they react to. These are the kind of statements that they debate better. This is where I thought it was a very simple statement, but the debate was very powerful. This the debate I thought was very complicated, but it was so flippant, frivolous. This was about science. For example, like imagine, Shakespeare was not the greatest of English writers. Imagine you give this to a 13-year-old. What are you going to speak? When I put forth this statement, I was scared myself. You can express better in prose than in poetry. How do you, to what extent you need to go? And in 4 minutes, you understand, you need to bring the whole essence of prose and poetry and you don't know what your opponent is going to speak. That is the funniest thing. It's not like other debates like the judge will decide what you've spoken. Here, entirely depending on, because you finish your 1 minute, you would have been broken into pieces by your judge, by your opponent. So it's not just preparing. You don't know what he's going to say. He might debunk everything that you said. You don't even have anything more to say. Correct? He may say that you're fundamentally wrong.
Actually, there's one more thing that I wanted to ask, since you mentioned the judging. Do you give any kind of specific instructions?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we also actually want
no,
to
but that page is there on our Facebook page. If you go back, you have one instruction which has too many parameters. Language to, attitude to, appeal to, body language to, everything is there. But we say those are all reference points. We don't get you to mark for that. Just take all this into consideration and mark only for 10.
So
these are total. There's like a total thing. You are like total impression what I get. Like somebody speaks very well, but you don't feel nice about them. You mark them less, right? But you don't say, oh, they spoken well for that 5. Okay, the attitude 2. No. Total impression what you get. When tomorrow your politician in your country, when he comes and speaks, you don't vote quarter vote for his looks, half vote for his, philosophy. No, you don't do that. You give for the total impression, right? So public debate is about impression, what you feel about it after listening to everything. Somebody, like it happened with one, somebody actually came and fought. I spoke very well, and even one of the judges patted my back, but why was I marked less? We showed one of the judges, he had marked them 3 out of 10. I asked the judge, why did you do that? He said, but he was so arrogant. I didn't like them. They think that, look at their very attitude. They were barking at their, opponents. He said, no, they deserve only 3. If you ask me to correct it, I'll give them 1, he said. You got it. So it's the impression.
But
so
the maximum is 30 points per
10 per judge. 10 per judge.
Maximum 30
yeah,
for
so you give 30 for all the 3 teams together.
One judge.
Yeah, 1, 10, 10, 10. So all 3 together, you select 1 team. Normally it's you select 1 team. But what we are trying to tell tomorrow is that out of 15 teams, we'll select only 3. So the top 3 we will select. Because the chances of you getting 5 teams or 6 teams would be remote.
What about our prize for today?
Your prize?
Yeah. We need a cookie.
I think we have not kept the bowl of apple here.
We will have to take it to Vlastimir.
Yes.
Decide your fate.
We need a candy.
I don't think not in this season.
We were good kids.
And I normally attract mosquitoes for some reason. Anyway, so that's what.
And how many judges are there?
Normally 3 judges. More the judges, the better the result.
So what?
The problem is because this is subjective marking. You understand?
But what?
Because it's subjective marking, somebody may not like something, so they may mark less. Somebody may like something, may not like something, may mark less. Somebody may like something, they may mark high. So if you just have 2 people, there's disparity. More people, you get the mean average.
Is there any preference for odd or even number of judges? Preference for odd or even? No. So it's just like a total
3 minimum.
3 minimum.
3 minimum. We've even had 5 judges also sometimes. But as much as possible, not related to the students in any way. In the sense, people who can judge really impartially. People who come and say, I told to your father, or I know you come from this area, right? And human beings, they tend to put 2 marks here, 1 mark down. So as much as possible, if you're going to do it between 2 schools, get somebody who is like, not correct, maybe even a housewife who can understand English. Because ultimately it's about See, what's the use of your argument if nobody has understood? I think your argument should be understood even by the last person. That's communication. I went to one of these British parliamentary debate. They spoke. Even I was not able to understand what they were speaking. Spoke. I did not know what they were saying.
Yeah.
I don't know what that motion, what kind of motion it was.
Yeah, there is a bit of a jargon there in these debates in many formats in the world, where they use words that only are being used in that particular meaning in that debating format.
And you don't even understand, like, you know, somebody appeals and somebody has a
point of information and various things like that.
Yeah. So, but it's, I mean, I'm not, see, I'm not here to denounce anything. They've been doing it for so many years, let them do it. But we are not in competition with them. And let me make it very clear. We are not here to destroy them, unlike how some of them think. They think we are here to destroy them. And some of them want to destroy us. But I'm saying we have nothing to do with you. We are different. And actually your debaters can come, but I'm sure very well that most of their debaters, the moment they come here, they will start debating better here. And a lot of them will find it difficult to talk here, because there you practice. Here, the moment somebody opposes you, you're not used to it. Correct? Like yesterday that boy said, so you think your country is the best? One question. I mean, I could just break down. Correct? Because I'm not expecting that question from a student in the class. So like I said, okay, I know it the best, so I think it's the best. So it's okay, over. But imagine if I'm not prepared for it. Like, I go bonkers and say, I don't know what to say, I'll get scared. Correct? I'll not know, I'll be afraid that, you know, every time I say something, I come up with something. That's the problem. With prepared debate sign, this kind of witty on the spot. Because here,
the position for or against, it's been given the second when they picked the statement, right? These 2 hours before.
No, normally 2 hours is ideal because see, our idea
but
is
also for the position.
yeah. Our idea is that you're supposed to be aware about a lot of things. Unlike in your country, in my country, children are aware about. You ask them about Estonia, they know about Estonia. You ask them about Czech Republic, they know about Czech Republic. Normally an Indian student is more aware than because they read newspapers, they watch TV, they talk to people, they are very curious to know about the world. Unless in some of these countries, like, you know, like day before somebody was asking, is India so dirty that the moment you open the plane you'll get bad smell? As if you have a toilet next to the plane door, right? Then ask it depends on what kind of a plane you're gone in. Okay? So it's like that. So, you know, I mean, somebody must have told some nonsense to you. Correct? Somebody must have, you know, fed something into your head. Like yesterday we were talking about Varanasi, right? I mean, the whole India, you just gone to Varanasi once and you can actually come back and say India is shitty. Or people throw dead bodies into the river. But that's not true, correct? I mean, India has about 1,200 rivers and this is just one river and only in one stretch they do it. Correct. So you can't have such a bad idea. It used to, when I went and told most of these young children about, you know, my experience of your culture or, you know, culture in this part or maybe in Italy or so many other places, they're very receptive. Very receptive, and most of them, that's what I'm trying to say. So that's actually come from that you're supposed to be aware, you're supposed to know a lot of things. The assumption is that you've read a lot, you've watched enough TV, you've spoken to enough people, that you don't have to really prepare a lot. So maybe that you can relax to an extent, depending on how students react in the first few sessions. If you feel, yes, 2 hours is enough, keep it to 2 hours. Or sometimes earlier stages, maybe 36 hours or 12 hours, because, you know, 27 statements you need to at least give to, what do you say, 20, what is, I mean 12 hours. sorry, about 36 hours. 27 statements if you really want the best. But if you feel it's a longer time, that we can relax perhaps. But the other things we can't. And also I told about the four rounds are ideal, but the problem is that even getting a fifth round, even after fifth round you may want the sixth round. There's no end to it. Correct. And once you master it, you know that 4 rounds are enough. And actually, when you watch a debate, sometimes after the third round you feel that only third round, because you feel like you already heard a lot. So that's what. Okay, let's see you tomorrow. And help your students. Thank you. Have a good sleep.
One question, but normally it's not that the statements are given like few days before or announced.
Normally the 10 statements that we give for the competitions.
You announce them?
Quite in advance.
Okay, so you announce them before so they can do some preparation, but these 2 hours are just for the specific one.
The specific statement, on the side, almost always 2 hours.
Okay, great. That was
only the last competitions, the pre-finals 1 hour, the last finals it's actually 15 minutes, but because pre-statements 45 minutes. So only 2 hours. Statement generally you're supposed to be aware, so you know.
Yeah,
because otherwise the quality will become very poor.
Yeah.
You just come and see the statement and suddenly you don't even know. For example, you know at least there's something about Shakespeare, something about atomic energy. Because after 10 years the statements have become more and more complicated. There's something about nanotechnology. So at least they will start talking to about nanotechnology. There is some debate, what will you argue, and so they start thinking about it.
You can see in advance, maybe those 5 I don't have to think of at all, and then those 5 I'm least confident.
Because otherwise it's going to be really tricky, not know anything at all. And also another thing is that you need to find statements. You need to find statements that are more relevant.
Yeah.
We have made about 500 statements that could be international, but I think you need to find, because culturally, correct? If like these people are talking, Estonians don't. What do you say? Don't get into a conversation or whatever it is. I think something that's very specific to that. You understand? Like Estonians are better off, without a family or something like that. So that will be more relevant for someone to debate than like yesterday Jakub was talking about some crisis in South Africa, which is like, and you're speaking for hours about it, where you don't even know, you don't have now any relevance to it. Here's something, for example, I am ready to take a refugee in my home. Very direct. How will you argue? Imagine how you have to be polite. That's something that we say. You're not polite, now.
But we should have had at least one statement about the refugee.
Yeah, see, because you were going to, we are going to select the next, right? Maybe you can come up with some statements. The ones who get selected, that's where you get to know how a person can speak without offending. You get it? That's when the art of speech comes to the fore. About saying the most uncomfortable things, but in a way that everybody acts, or at least says, okay, you're not being rude. That's what I'm trying to say.
But what do the judges exactly mark as their attitude?
No, as I told you, total impression. Totally. What do you feel? For example, maybe the argument is
they have 10 points.
No, I will show the points to you. You can perhaps, scroll up the Verbattle page, have the Verbattle page. You can go to the Verbattle page, there are a lot of things.
On the Facebook.
On the Facebook. And the other thing is that, like, And the other thing is like, no, that's what. And see, for example, that's the problem, because somebody can speak, argue very well, but you may feel that's not the way to argue. That's why the impression is important. You may say, no, this is not the way to argue. Like the other day, somebody in India said, oh, this boy was very loud, he was screaming, they said. He spoke very well, but he said screaming, bad. Why did he scream? You understand? And he was not selected. All the judges said, you know, he's too loud. Why is he talking like we are deaf? We understand what he's trying to say. Let him keep, the guy was screaming. And he was speaking very well, but he was screaming. They didn't like it. So, but if at all you say, for boys, 1 point, then what will happen? They will not mark there, but for the rest they will have to give 9. So even a screaming boy will go through to the next level, and he will think what he has done is right.
That is actually interesting, because that is pretty much what happens in most normal debating formats, where it is either that the style, you know, how persuasive you sound, just on the level of technically how well you speak, is either downplayed completely, or it is a separate number of points, which but never really decides.
Because that's not going to take, that's not going to be the discerning factor at all.
Yes.
So what you do is that 1 point for voice, 1 point for attitude, 1 point for body language, 3 points, 7 points for debate. That means you have spoken well and everything else is bad, you still get to go to the next level. No, here I say, you spoke very well, but I didn't like the way you spoke.
Should we evaluate if
2.
both people in one pair, like one is involved more and the other one is just saying maybe 2 words per minute, or not involving at all, just one is speaking?
No, that's also. Then that's what we have the parameters. If you go through it, all these things. It even talks about. The teamwork.
Okay.
It talks about
the marks sheet.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is.
Yeah. Understanding the statement, knowledge in the subject, language ability, diction, accent, pronunciation, clarity, expression, voice, body language, attire, appearance, public skills, appeal, presentation, logic, style, points, examples, statistics, information, other preparation, time management, structure of argument, establishment of argument, team conduct, team coordination, team performance, team constitution. It's enough for somebody.
Which is essentially everything.
In a sense, if you've forgotten something, at least you can say, have I forgotten something? That's all it is. But it's only for 10 marks, totally.
This is essentially, in terms of like methodologies of various debating formats, this is essentially everything that you could potentially consider.
Because we are trying to provoke the judge to see all these points. He may just, because for him to, so he should not say, oh, I did not know the team had to be, so we have the team. Ultimately, how he marks is totally up to you. But at least you need to remind that there is something called the team, there's something about the voice, there's something about skills, there's something about argument. So all these things, and then